Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are on page 109 today, and before we begin, we're going to do our problem of the day. So today we're going to review multiplying decimals. So my first problem is 2 89/100 times 4 6/10. Okay, when I multiply decimals, I want to set it up and just kind of ignore the decimal. I want to set it up with the longer number on top and the shorter number on the bottom, and I don't try to line up the decimal. If it lined itself up, then I leave it, but I don't purposely line it up. Then I'm going to multiply, just ignoring the decimal. So we have 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 8 is 48. Plus 5 is 53. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17. Then we have a placeholder. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 3 is 35. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So we get 13294. Now, after I solve, now I worry about my decimals. So I'm going to do something called loops under each number to the decimal. So here, my problem had 3 loops. So my answer or my product has to have 1, 2, 3 loops, and then I add my answer there. So my answer is 13 and 294 thousandths. Okay. Let's try another one. So if my problem was maybe a word problem, $8.50 times 4. So again, I'm going to set it up with the longer problem on top, or the longer number, I'm sorry. And then I'm just not going to worry about the decimals. I'm going to ignore the decimals and just multiply like a regular problem. So I get 4 times 0, 0. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 2 is 34. Okay, now when I've multiplied, I'm going to worry about the decimal. So I'm going to come up here to my factors. I'm going to go 1, 2 loops. There's no loops here because there's no decimal. So in my problem, I have 2 loops, which means in my product or answer, I need 2 loops. So my answer is 34 exactly. So $34 would be. Okay, here is a problem for you to work on, and your teacher will be asking for your answer. 3 42/100 times 7/10. Make my 3 a little clearer. 3 42/100 times 7/10. Okay, so let's get started with our actual lesson today. Our lesson today is, today I will subtract fractions, I apologize, fractions, and here's our new part, and regroup using an area model. Okay. So we have done this before. We have subtracted fractions using an area model, but our new part is we're going to add the words and regroup. Regroup is kind of like borrowing. So let's look at our vocabulary. They're just reminding us what a numerator and a denominator is. We're being reminded about common denominators because remember, when I add and subtract fractions, I always need common denominators. They're reminding us about simplest form, that how we've been doing simplest form is we've been dividing by the GCF. And then reasonable is a reasonable answer. Equivalent means equal in value. And then they're reminding us of some subtraction vocabulary. Okay, so let's look at our steps. Our first step says draw and shade an area model for the minuend and septuagint. So I'm going to draw my 2 numbers. Step 2 says divide the first fraction horizontally by the same number of sections as the second fraction. Divide the second fraction vertically by the same number of sections as the first fraction. Okay, so let's go back to these steps. Remember when I first draw them, I have to have one with horizontal lines and one with vertical lines when I draw them. Steps 2 and 3, remember, we just make them match. So we want our area models to match. Okay, then it says divide one of the holes to regroup. So regroup means we might need to borrow. And then we're going to subtract and simplify if needed, and that will be using our GCF. Okay, so let's look at what this actually looks like. Okay, so here's my first problem. And my first problem says 4 take away 7/12. So I'm going to first draw and shade both of them. So 4 means I have 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. That's what I have. And shade those in. So I have 4 holes. Okay, so this is what I have. And they want me to take away 7/12. Okay. I'm going to divide. Remember, one has to be vertical and one has to be horizontal. Okay, did I have 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 parts. Okay, and I have 7 of them. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I drew and shaded them, one vertical and one horizontal, but because I didn't need to divide them, I just had one. Now steps 2 and 3 say make them match. Well, these ones don't really have to match because I don't really have different kinds. So I could actually just leave them. Okay, let's look at my next step. It says divide one of the holes to borrow. Now the reason I have to borrow is because they want me to take away 7 parts. I don't have any parts over here. There's no parts over here. So what I need to do is I need to come and cut up one of these holes, which is the borrowing or the regrouping. I need to cut up one of these into 12ths. And then let's count how many I need to take away. They want me to take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's come over here and take them away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is what I had. This is what they said to take away. So I took away 7 parts. So what do I have left? I have 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, and how many parts do I have here left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 12 left. Now when I go to try and see if I can simplify this, remember I'm going to do my factors for 5. 5 is 1 times 5, 2 doesn't work, 3 doesn't work, 4 doesn't work, and 5's a repeat. So my only factors for 5 are 1 and 5, and 5 and 1 aren't factors. So that means it is in simplest form. Okay, let's look at another one. This says Max the dog ate 1 2/5 pounds of dog food last week. This week he ate 3/4 pounds of dog food. How much more, which tells us it's subtraction, dog food did he eat last week? So my problem is 1 2/5 take away 3/4. Okay, so step 1, we're going to draw and shade. And we're going to make sure one's vertical and one's horizontal. So I have 1 hole, and then I have 2/5. Okay, so let's draw this. I have 1 hole, and I have 2/5. Okay, take away 3/4.
Hey, give me my mask back. Stay safe. Give me my mask back. I'm coming home. Okay, let me get it.
Okay, so that was step 1. Step 2 is let's make them match. So this one doesn't have any vertical lines. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one's missing the 1, 2, 3 horizontal lines. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is what I have, and this is what they want me to take away. So they want me to take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 parts. Now when I come over here to take them away, there's not enough. I don't have 15 parts, which means I need to regroup or I need to borrow from this hole. So I need to cut up this hole. So when I cut it up, it needs to match. So 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical lines. And 1, 2, 3 horizontal lines. And now I have enough parts to take away the 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so how many parts do I have left? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 13 parts. Out of how many are each hole cut into? Each hole is cut into 20 parts. Okay, so now to simplify this, I could do a factor table for my smallest one, 1 times 13. Now some of you might know 13's prime. It's nice to know your prime numbers because I know there's no other factors. So because 13 won't work for 20, then that means it's in simplest form. Okay, let's try some together. So we are on page 110, and here is our first problem. Our first problem is 3 take away 2 and 2, 6. Okay, so we're going to draw what we have. We have 1, 2, 3 holes. Okay, so let's shade those in. 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes, and that's what we have. And they want us to take away 1 hole, 2 holes, and 2 6. So this has to be divided into sixths. Okay. So let's look at this. They want me to take away 2 holes and 2 sixths. Okay, so that was step 1. Step 1 was draw and shade them, 1 horizontal and 1 vertical. This time I only had 1 because this I didn't have to divide up yet. Okay, so now it says to make match. I don't really need to make them match because I don't have the other kind. So they want me to take away 2 6. Well, when I come over here, I can't take away 2 6. So I need to regroup or cut this one up so I can take away the 2 6 because they want me to take away 2 pieces. Now I can take away 2 pieces. They also want me to take away 2 holes. So let's come over to what I have and take away 2 holes. So what am I left with? I'm left with no holes, and I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4 parts out of 6. Okay, so my last step is to simplify. So let's make a table for 4. 1 times 4, 2 times 2. Oh, there was a repeat, so I can stop. Okay, so I start with my largest. 4 is a factor of 4, but it's not a factor of 6. 2 is a factor of 4 and 6. So let's divide by 2 over 2, and we get 2/3. And that is our answer in simplest form. Okay, let's try our next problem. Jane walks 2 1/4 miles from her home to school. Amanda walks 1 2/3 miles from her home to school. How much farther does Jane walk to school than Amanda? So how much farther tells us it's subtraction. So we have 2 1/4 take away 1 2/3. Oh, sorry, 1 2/3. Okay, So our first step is to draw and shade both of them, one vertical and one horizontal. So I have 2 holes and 1/4. So what do we have? We have 2 holes and 1/4. Take away, so this is what I have, and then they're going to take away 1 hole and 2/3. Okay, since this was vertical, I'm going to do this one horizontal. So they want me to take away 1 hole and 2/3. Okay, so that's step 1. I drew and shaded 1 vertical and 1 horizontal. Now we're going to make them match. So this one needs 1, 2, 3 vertical lines, 1, 2, 3, and this one needs 1, 2 horizontal. Okay, so now we go to subtract and we do our fraction first. So they want me to take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. But I come over to what I have and I don't have 8 parts. So I need to regroup. So let's cut up one of the holes. Let's regroup that, and now we have enough parts to take away. So let's take away 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, they also want me to take away 1 hole. So let's come over here and take away 1 hole. Okay, so what do we have left? We have no holes left, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 out of 12 left. Now I know 7 is a prime number and 7 is not a factor of 12, so that means that's in simplest form. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have the next 3 pages to try on your own. Have a nice day.